It's a wonderful day in West Virginia. Welcome to the Daily 304 Innovators and Entrepreneurs feature. Here at the Daily 304, we are committed to sharing the wealth, beauty, opportunity, and innovation that's here in wonderful, almost heaven, West Virginia. Today, we are joined by Kevin Degregorio. He's the Executive Director of the Chemical Alliance Zone of West Virginia. Their organization works to boost and maintain investments and jobs in the chemical industry and related industries in the Mountain State. Kevin Degregorio, welcome to the Daily 304.
Thanks, Andy. Great to be here.
Kevin, we've talked a lot about the chemical industry and how it's thriving in West Virginia and the innovative work that you do. Can you talk to me a little bit about whether you're working with DuPont or Pfizer and diverse clients, how your organization supports that diverse industry of the chemical industry in West Virginia?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a good question. And I think there's kind of two broad answers. The first one is, even though the technologies and companies are very diverse, a lot of the issues are the same. So especially if we're talking to prospects who are thinking of moving here, they're looking at site selection, what's the labor force, those types of things. Companies who are already here are looking at some of the same issues, but it's workforce development, training. Some with the small companies, I might even help them find an engineering firm or whatever. So a lot of common issues makes that easier than it sounds. But as you mentioned, there's a lot of different situations. So in those cases, hopefully, I have enough expertise and experience that I can help them. And in those cases, when I don't, I probably know somebody in the state who can help them.
That's great. And along with the work you do, there's something called ChemCeption. It sounds like a movie title that's really popular. Tell us a little bit about that program, how it works, and what it does.
ChemCeption is an incubator at the West Virginia Regional Tech Park. So it's a place where startups and entrepreneurs can come, get lab space, even get pilot plant space. So we actually do the scale up at the park as well. What we have created since then, and if I had to do it all over, to be honest, I would have done instead of ChemCeption, is a program we call ChemAssist, a program where we assist chemistry-based startups all across the state. So the advantage there is they don't have to be at our park. If they're in Morgantown, if they're in Martinsburg, if they're in Huntington, if they're in Boone County, wherever they might be, if it's a chemistry-based startup, we might be able to help them. And we define that pretty loosely. So that's all the way from a very, very traditional chemistry company to a company that's making advanced materials, some biotech companies, and we've even helped distilleries and breweries. It's chemistry after all. We've worked with over 120 companies in the state and help maintain 175, create over 100, and help facilitate over $9 million in follow-on funding. So it's been a really successful program for very little money that goes into it.
You know what I heard, we have people on the show like yourself that serve as this catalyst. I'll get chemistry here, right? And you connect the dots for people, especially very intelligent, entrepreneurial, innovative people that are trying to do something, and they don't have to worry about as much the capital, this place to do the experiments, but more focus on the idea and the innovation. Leverage your experience, your connections, your organization's tentacles that go out into West Virginia to help them. And that's a great thing that people don't really know all the time. Like I heard you say that there's a Japanese company that's making something just here. You know, that's like, really? In West Virginia? Yes, right here. And you could too by connecting with Kevin. Kevin, You've been here for a while. Tell me what you do, all that change, stress, innovation, all that industry transformation. What do you do to get away from all that in being a lifelong West Virginian? What do you love doing here?
Yeah, so I have a bunch of hobbies like everybody. I play acoustic guitar. You see the picture of my wife painted for me years ago and gave it to me for Christmas. So I like to do those kinds of things. But you know, I lived in West Virginia all my life. I grew up in Richwood. And so once upon a time when I was much younger, I fished and I backpacked. I was in the cranberry glades. I did all those kinds of things. I don't do much of that anymore. Now, when I get outdoors in West Virginia, it's basically to work out. So one of my biggest hobbies is really fitness. And so that's usually walks. I don't do a lot of long running anymore, although you might see me sprinting up stadium steps at West Virginia State University or even the state capitol. But I'll get out and walk the boulevard. I like, when we're at Ogilvy or at the Greenbrier or Stonewall Resort, you'll see me out walking and doing that kind of stuff. So that's really the big one nowadays as far as outdoors. And then my wife and I, when she's around, my daughter, we like, we like to visit Lewisburg or again, Ogilvy, places like that, and just enjoy the amenities. We like wineries, so we do some of that. So those types of things.
What a great weekend you just outlined, either north or south, Ogilvy or Lewisburg, taking in the communities, the small things that are unique to the great places across the state. Kevin, we have a really neat feature here that we ask folks like you with extensive experience to provide a piece of advice or wisdom. We call it an Innovation Corner. And I was wondering if you could share with us or with our listeners and our viewers a piece of advice that you could give them to help them keep going and developing their idea and growing the ideas they have into fruition.
I kind of think that more than anything else, realize that there's a network of people across the state that really want to help others. So reach out to us. If you're looking for a pile of cash or for the magic bullet, we're not going to give you either, most likely, but we're going to work. If we think your business idea and your venture is legit and valid, we're going to work and reach out to others to help you. So I think a lot of entrepreneurs are afraid to reach out, and they should just do it and realize that that's our job too. So it's not like it's a volunteer effort, although we would probably do that. The second one is, I think, take criticism well. I will often, on the first call with a startup, with an entrepreneur I've never met, I'll say, I'm going to be very honest with you and blunt. And I hope I'm not, I hope you take that well. And I will tell people if I think, my opinion is you're heading in the wrong direction and here's why. Or you're looking at the wrong market, have you thought of this? Or I'm not sure if your technology is sound. Why don't we get some experts from Marshall or WVU to look at it? That doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen. And so people have to be ready to take that criticism and pivot and do whatever it is they need to do to make that business successful. So that would be my two.
Wonderful advice. One, ask for help. Two, then take it when it's offered, right? And that's hard for us, especially if we're so in love with an idea instead of the solution the problem that we're trying to solve. So that's wonderful advice. And Kevin, just real quickly, it's a short show. We really appreciate your time. What is the best way, the easiest way for entrepreneurs and innovators to get a hold of you for more information?
My email is kevindig, KEVINDIG @suddenlink.net. That's the best one. It goes to my phone, it goes to my home office, it goes to everything. And so email me, send me something, and I'll be back in touch.
Thank you so much. Kevin DeGregorio from the Chemical Alliance Zone. We really appreciate you being on the Daily 304 today.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you for watching. Be sure to follow us on all our social media channels at the Daily 304. You can also stay up to date with all the great things happening in beautiful, almost heaven, wonderful West Virginia by heading on over to www.wv.gov/daily304. We'll see you again next time.